Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to, cut through the noise and get straight to what matters. And today we're looking at something pretty big, a real seismic shift, you could say, in online content. We're talking about YouTube's recent policy changes, specifically how they're hitting faceless channels. The ones without someone on camera, often using AI voices and AI-generated content generally. So our mission here is to really unpack what went down in July 2025, why it's such a big deal, figure out what kinds of faceless content might actually still be okay, and look at the broader picture, the implications for creators.
Yeah, and it's definitely not just some minor rule adjustment. It feels more fundamental. Like Judah warned, and it's pretty stark, he said. Once YouTube rolled out its July 2025 policy, the game officially changed. If you're trying to monetize a faceless channel, understand this. What worked yesterday won't survive today. It's time to evolve or be erased. That really hammers home the urgency, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. That's a powerful quote, really sets the tone. So if you're making content online, or maybe you're just curious about how this whole digital media world is changing, especially with AI in the mix, well, this deep dive is definitely for you. Let's get into it. Can you start us off? What exactly changed with this YouTube update back in July?
Okay, so around July 1st, 2025, maybe closer to July 15th, depends a bit on who you ask, YouTube basically started enforcing its policies much more strictly, and it wasn't like a slow ramp up. It was pretty sudden. It seemed to catch a lot of creators completely off guard, change things overnight for how their videos were seen, and crucially, monetize.
Right. And I think there's this idea floating around that YouTube just decided no more faceless channels. But that's not quite it, is it? Can you clarify what kind of content are they really gunning for here?
That's a really important point, yeah. They're not saying all faceless content is bad. What they're targeting is, and this is their wording, low effort, repetitive, or auto-generated content that doesn't offer real value. So if your stuff feels like you just copied and pasted it, or it looks kind of spammy, that's the danger zone. We're seeing them look very closely at things like AI voiceovers being the only voice, relying heavily on stock footage or automatically generated visuals without adding much. Also, channels with absolutely no host, no personality showing through, and critically, no human narrator or at least a verified voice behind it.
So if your channel pretty much sounds like a robot put it together using library footage, YouTube's basically saying time's up. Wow. That's a major pivot. And I guess this means a lot of creators who are using tools like, 11 Labs, Synthesia, they're affected.
Exactly. A ton of popular faceless channels were built using tools like 11 Labs for the voice, Synthesia for the visuals, maybe even Suno for music or Sora for video clips. These tools are super powerful, no doubt. But now, if they're used without adding a clear, human layer on top, they're under intense scrutiny.
It sounds like this really blindsided people. Was there much warning? Or did creators just wake up one day to this new reality?
It definitely felt like a blindside for many. The rollout was fast. YouTube gave maybe 30 days notice, something like that. And the really tough part was they started applying these rules retroactively. So videos you posted ages ago that were fine and making money suddenly weren't compliant. Imagine that whiplash. It sent shockwaves for sure.
That's incredibly disruptive. Okay, so YouTube's official line is about transparency, authenticity, and viewer trust. Fair enough. But looking beyond the PR speak, what are the real drivers here? What pressures are pushing them to enforce this now?
Well, the official reasons aren't wrong, exactly. But yeah, there's more to it. YouTube's feeling pressure from, multiple directions. Governments are worried about AI deepfakes, misinformation. Advertisers are getting nervous. They want brand safety right. They don't want their ads next to something that feels low quality or maybe even deceptive. And then you have traditional media probably feeling squeezed by this flood of AI content that's, let's be honest, cluttering up the algorithm. It makes it harder to tell what's real, what's human-made, what has actual value. There was even that leaked memo supposedly calling AI faceless channels things like unsustainable, misleading, and a brand risk. So the push is really towards accountability. Be visible, use a real voice, show your face sometimes. Think video podcasts, commentary where you see the person, or at least verified narration. They want a landscape that's more predictable, more brand safe. AI, uncontrolled, is like the Wild West. Big companies prefer, paved roads and streetlights. This policy shift is building those roads.
Right, so if I'm a creator and my whole channel is, say, abstract animations narrated by an AI voice I licensed, I'm basically being told, change fundamentally or you're out. What happens if you don't comply? What are the actual consequences we're seeing?
Oh, they're serious. Potentially career-ending for some. First off, demonetization. Even if your channel was perfectly fine before, boom, ad revenue gone. Then, getting buried. Removed from search results, dropped from suggested videos. That's basically a death sentence for visibility on YouTube. You could also get strikes for things like impersonation or inauthentic behavior, which seems to cover anything misleading about who made the content. And in the worst cases, yeah, they can just terminate the account entirely. These aren't small tweaks. It's hitting creators' livelihoods hard if they built on that old model.
That is a serious reality check. Okay, but let's shift to the maybe slightly better news. Not all faceless channels are doomed. What's the common thread? What does YouTube still see as valuable, even if there's no face on screen?
The core idea seems to be add your voice, personal touch, your own editing. You need to transform the content, make it originally your own video. It's less about the specific software, CapCut, Canva, whatever. It's about the transformation, the value you add personally. What really connects the safe channels isn't just having a human voice, it's showing unique human effort and thought. YouTube seems to be rewarding the why. Why this story? Why your take? Why is your explanation different? That kind of thing.
Okay, that helps clarify. It's the transformation that's key.
Yeah.
So can you break down these 4 types of faceless channels that seem to be weathering the storm, that are still getting monetized?
Sure. First up, tutorial channels with voiceover. These are the channels teaching you how to do something step by step, like how to use the software, tips for Canva, phone tricks, maybe how to create videos. The key thing here, you need your own voice explaining it, or maybe an AI voice if you're clearly guiding step by step, but honestly, your own voice or paying a real person is probably safer long term. And ideally, use your own screenshots or screen recordings. Show your work.
Makes sense. Clear value. You're showing the process. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 is storytelling channels with personal or rewritten scripts. Think channels telling Bible stories, maybe true crime, motivational stuff, but, and this is critical, the script has to be yours. Written by you, in your words. I heard about one creator who got flagged just for basically copying someone else's script verbatim, almost lost monetization. So originality is huge here. Your own creative spin is essential. And again, use your own voiceover or hire someone.
Right, not just relaying facts, but crafting your narrative.
Yeah.
Got it. Third safe zone.
Third one. Commentary and reaction channels. You don't necessarily need your face here either, but you must add your voice, your thoughts. Explain things, pause the video you're reacting to, give your actual opinion. Could be reacting to viral clips, sharing your take on news, even compiling funny videos like kids or pets, but with your voiceover adding commentary throughout. Maybe celebrity gossip channels where you show photos but narrate it yourself. The big rule, don't just grab someone else's video and re-upload it with maybe some music. That's reused content, and YouTube really dislikes that. It's all about your input.
Yeah, that's a huge point. Add your later, don't just be a conduit. Okay, and the 4th type.
And the 4th one is educational channels with slides and voice. These teach stuff using visual slides, maybe some stock footage, screen recordings, topics like business, tech, health, finance tips. You see videos using B-roll and slides to explain, how to make money online or healthy eating habits. The key is a clear spoken explanation, your voiceover guiding the viewer through the information. And again, make sure the descriptions and the overall presentation feel like your work, not just scraped from somewhere else. Provide real educational value through your specific way of teaching it.
Okay, so that covers the 4 main safe zones. And it's worth mentioning, right, that these channels, when done well, can still be very successful. Like the monetization potential is still there.
Oh, absolutely. If you adapt and follow these guidelines, focusing on the unique human value, these types of faceless channels can still generate significant income. The opportunity hasn't vanished, it's just shifted.
Definitely shifted.
Yeah.
So for creators who are maybe scrambling right now, trying to figure this out, what are the immediate practical things they should be doing? Actionable steps?
Good question. Okay, first, if you're faceless, try to inject some human element, even small. Maybe a personal voiceover intro, a quick webcam reaction snippet here and there, anything that shows there's a real person behind the curtain.
Like adding a personal signature. Okay, what else? Transparency.
Yep, transparency helps. If you are using AI tools, YouTube has that disclosure option now. Label it clearly, partially AI generated, and maybe even more important, back up your stuff. Seriously, we're hearing stories, anecdotal maybe, but still, of channels getting taken down suddenly, without much warning. You do not want to lose years of work overnight. Download your videos.
Oof, yeah. Better safe than sorry, definitely. Back up everything. And lastly, should creators be looking beyond YouTube now? Diversifying.
I'd strongly recommend it. Don't keep all your content eggs in the YouTube basket, especially now. Look into other platforms, Rumble, X, maybe Odyssey. Even consider turning content into podcasts using tools like Notebook LM, places where the rules around AI might be different, or at least less strict. For now, anyway. Build some resilience outside of one platform.
Okay, so If we zoom out again, look at the bigger picture. This isn't just YouTube changing rules, is it? It feels like part of a larger trend. Maybe the corporatization of AI creativity. What does that mean?
I think that's a good way to put it. It feels bigger than just one platform's policy update. It signals that these huge platforms, they want more control. Control the narrative, filter the content, maybe make more room for established media or influencers they deem verified. It's about creating a more managed, predictable online space,
Yeah.
which, benefits big advertisers and established players. And the faceless creator, the one who represented this idea that anyone could build an audience without being famous or showing their face, that archetype is getting squeezed. It really brings up fundamental questions about who gets a voice, who gets visibility, and ultimately who gets paid in this rapidly evolving AI era.
It really does. A fundamental shift in the digital creator economy, no doubt.
So this deep dive has really underscored a crucial point. The game has changed for faceless content on YouTube. You've got to adapt, focus on bringing that unique human value, that transformation, to whatever you create.
Yeah, and we really encourage you listening to this to think about your own strategies. If you're a creator, how will you adapt? Or even as someone consuming content, how does this change what you watch, what you trust online?
Exactly, because in this digital world that's changing so fast, it's not just about what's created anymore, but maybe whose voice gets amplified. So the question to leave you with is this: how will you make sure your unique perspective, your voice, cuts through in an online space that seems to be getting more regulated, more human-centric?